Good morning from beautiful Arizona, getting ready for a morning bike ride. Just a couple things to remember before you hit the bike paths or the local sidewalks. Check your water, check your lights, check your tire pressure, make sure everything is good to go. Don't forget the helmet. I like to wear gloves, helps with callousing when you're on the bike. And I always wear this face protector. It helps to protect from dust. So something to consider if it's an especially hazy day, and it helps me from getting a runny nose the next day. So anyways, hope you enjoy this beautiful bike ride in beautiful Arizona. Okay, so what's so great about an Arizona morning bike ride? I'm on my bike right now, and I've got to tell you a couple of my favorite things. I've lived in a couple different parts of the state, and I've ridden my bike all over the state. So I feel like I have a pretty good insight after quite a few years of living in Arizona of what's so great about an Arizona morning bike ride. So if you're familiar with Arizona, we can get pretty hot in the summer, up to like 118, even like 120 in places like Phoenix. Tucson in general runs quite a bit cooler, but so one of the great things about a morning, I love this about Phoenix mornings, it can be 118 in the afternoon, but in the morning it's like 68, 72. Take two. So when it gets super hot in the afternoons, it's really nice to be able to get out early in the morning. Plus it's like really pretty, you've got great views everywhere, and like I said, as someone who has lived in Arizona for quite a few years and I've been all over the state, one of the benefits from Sedona, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tucson, Oro Valley, Sahuarita, even out to Tombstone and Bisbee, one of the benefits is that you'll find there's something for everybody, which I love. I work all day, I'm busy, and when I go out on a bike ride, I just love like getting away from it all. It really helps with like the mental, so having lots of space around you is really great, especially if you live in like a more condensed area. I had a funny story yesterday. So I was out on a bike ride, get back, I can't find my keys anywhere, and I'm like, oh dang, I must have like lost them somewhere on the bike ride. So I go out, I retrace my steps on the bike ride, I can't find the keys anywhere. I'm like, I never lose stuff. This is totally not me. So I was really frustrated. And so, spoiler alert, long story short, too late. I did end up finding the keys last night when I laid down to go to bed. I had set them on my bed, and I guess it's when I was getting ready, I was putting on these knee pads I wear, when I bicycle, and there they were. So I did find them, so that was good news. But the moral of the story is that the bike ride I was out on was, 45 minutes while I was looking for those keys. And I want to say in the first 15 minutes, I was already at ease. There's something about a bike ride that helps you to get out of your head. Of course, an increase in endorphins makes you feel a little bit better. You're burning calories and all that good stuff. But the wide open space, and all of a sudden, my stress about losing those keys, which as you know can be stressful, finding replacements, a car replacement key can be super pricey, and all of a sudden I was okay, and I was like, hey, wait a second, I've got a spare key at the house, and oh, the house keys? Yeah, I've got an extra set of those hidden away, and then this security cabinet thing that I have, I'm like, oh yeah, and I've got an extra, hey, this isn't so bad. Yeah, I'll go get a replacement car key, but other than that, I'm okay. But it was something about that bike ride, that made me feel better. And I think if you are interested in moving to Arizona, or you live in Arizona already, or you're looking to visit, or just temporary relocation for work, there's so much good about bike riding here. I heartily recommend it. Having been here for quite a few years now, I would say it's absolutely changed my life, in the sense that I remember there was a point where I was trying to lose a little bit of weight, and I go to a gym, but I don't know, it's kind of boring. I'd much rather be outside. And so it was hard in other places where the weather is kind of crappy, or it's super cold, or it's rainy, or all the time, or whatever. And here, because we have such kind of consistently good, sunny warm, a lot weather. I mean, even in traditional cooler months, you can get out on the paths. And so just that boost right there of it being more user-friendly is really helpful because, I started to lose weight. I consider myself kind of like, I don't know, bigger, thicker, beefy build. And now my legs, it's quite a few years of doing this now, so are like steel. I've tightened up a little bit here and there, every year. That metabolism, it's a little bit more challenging to work with, but it's a big help, and it's really good for your cardio, which is so important. And as I've often said, just, keep on moving, because that's really what matters. And, another one of the huge benefits of bike riding in Arizona is that there's something for everyone. So I like to be out on the paths where there's like not that many people. I mean, look at all this open space around me. I like to see a jogger coming ahead. This is like the first guy I've seen out here all morning. I've already been out here for a while, and that's pretty awesome, So that's it. But if you're a person who really likes to be around all the activity, Scottsdale is fantastic for options. Like, I would go, my favorite time to go in Scottsdale is early, like 5:30, because I would be out there kind of by myself, just a couple people, not too bad, not too busy. But there would be many times where in the afternoons you'll see like 3 or 4 people riding together. It's like a social thing. Scottsdale has fantastic bike paths. I mean, it is a beautiful bike system, and it's right up against Phoenix too. So you've got access, if you want to stay on the system, connecting right into Phoenix too. And what's interesting about that is there is definitely a difference in personality on the bike paths between those cities. So Scottsdale has a tendency to be very well coiffed. Everything is very clean, real pretty. You don't see trash a whole lot. Very rarely do you see homeless people. And one of the benefits of the Scottsdale system, and Phoenix too, is they work really well at trying to keep bicyclists away from the road. So occasionally you'll see a bicyclist needs to cross at an intersection or what have you, but for the most part, there's like lots of underpasses where like there's a major road, but you could just ride your bike underneath it, so you don't even have to bother up at the road like a lot of other major cities where you have to like cross at an intersection and wait, and there's 10 other people there, and Scottsdale is much better for that. And it's also a real pretty bike ride. There's lots of man-made lakes and waterfall fountains, and the path itself is really extensive. I mean, from North Scottsdale down to Tempe, I'd have to look it up, can't remember offhand, but it's like miles and miles of bike path. So there's a lot of it. And then where the personality starts to change is when there's a path that runs like out of Old Town Scottsdale towards the towards Phoenix. It changes from Scottsdale to Phoenix right around where those waterfalls are, and then all of a sudden you're in Phoenix. And every time I ride through there, it is always noticeable where it's like, oh, okay, the pretty coiffed bushes and clean benches start to get a little more rugged. Phoenix is a big city now, and so it's not quite as clean and meticulous as Scottsdale is. The same can kind of be said when you go just 2 hours away from Phoenix down to Tucson. Tucson is a city not nearly as big as Phoenix, but kind of the same vibe, it's a city. So Tucson has a fantastic, it's called the Loop, bike path that runs around the city. It is amazing, but it is city, and the vast majority of it is super nice, but there's a couple times where you'll ride through some kind of rugged areas or like the edge of a homeless encampment, and that's tough. But then just north of Tucson is an area called Oro Valley, which is probably more comparable to Scottsdale, smaller, more manicured. The difference between Oro Valley has fantastic bike paths. In fact, I'm going to do some dedicated videos to Oro Valley, Scottsdale, some other places that I've had good biking experiences throughout Arizona. In fact, I'll probably do that pretty soon because I love any opportunity to do that. But Oro Valley, the difference between Oro Valley and Scottsdale is I think Oro Valley is a little bit smaller. I'm pretty sure it is. But there's not as many, in fact, I don't think there's any water features. I can't think of any lakes. There's a couple like at the golf courses, but the bike paths just sort of run near them. Whereas Scottsdale, the water features are like all over the place, which is awesome, you know? So each city has its own personality, and for your own personal taste, just kind of figuring out what works best for you. Do you want to be in a more condensed area because you like being around all the people? Probably certain times of day in Scottsdale or Phoenix. Do you want to be a little bit more isolated, away from things? Same thing, like 5 o'clock in the morning in Scottsdale is awesome. You're going to be like one of 3 people out there. Or like Oro Valley in the afternoon is like there's nobody out there. There's a lot of retirees in that area, so you'll see like the super fit, you know, guys and gals in their 60s and 70s out there, which is awesome, and quite frankly what I aspire to be. I feel you got to keep moving, and so when you are on the bike paths and doing your daily movement exercise, that really helps, and I feel that Arizona is really conducive to that. So here's our runner number 2 and 3. Oh, and in fact I think it's the same one from earlier. See, like, how fantastic is that? And I'm actually on a path that's running along kind of like a busy road, and it hasn't been too bad, but you know, you just got to kind of figure out like what you like. Other benefits of bike riding in Arizona is there's such a commitment to it throughout the state, so you'll see signs that say like bike friendly community. There's a real compassion for it. Other places I've lived, like I remember when I lived in Los Angeles, like I bought a bike, I took it out on my first bike ride, and no joke, the day that I bought it, it was stolen. So whereas my current bike I've had for many years, Tucson and Phoenix both, and Scottsdale all have fantastic bike repair shops, and kind of like their own communities. Like there's this bike shop in Tucson, it's called Ajo Bikes, which is great. Just love their service there. There was one in Scottsdale that I used to go to, where, let me think, it was at Hayden and Granite Reef. I can't remember the name of it, but they were pretty good too, like good prices. In fact, I bought this bike there. This is a Cannondale, and they had pretty good prices. I remember thinking that their service was really good, but that their bedside manner could be improved at the time. I mean, it has been a while since I've been there, but anyway, so if you're thinking about exploring Arizona, if you're thinking about living in Arizona, there's something for everybody when it comes to the bike paths. I mean, what I can say is just get out there and start doing it. There's not really a whole lot of need to think about it. Just do it. I have found that, you know, that old phrase, it's like riding a bike, it's true. So once you do it and you get out there every day, you get a little bit stronger. Or if you've been doing it for a long time, I don't know about you, but I like to kind of change things up. Like I've got my handful of regulars that I like to do, but any opportunity to explore and try something different, I'm all for it, you know? So if you are a person who likes to bike ride, you're in Arizona, you're thinking about coming to Arizona, leave a comment, share your experience. I would love to hear about recommended bike paths throughout the state. I've got many, and I'm going to be doing videos on them, but I would love to hear what other people think about stuff, because I've just been yammering on here about what I like, but please do share your thoughts and comments. Of course, like, subscribe if you want to. I wonder if this thing is even still on anymore. Just YouTubing, brah. No worries. The challenges of trying to shoot a video and riding a bike. Stay focused. Oh, hey, and a couple other things too. Tips for bike riding in Arizona. One, just remember protection, sun protection. Right now I'm like covered up in sweatshirts and all that good stuff, but especially if you're like wearing a tank top or not a shirt, definitely make sure you got the waterproof sun protection. on, because it can get pretty hot here. And then another thing you want to think about doing too is I have like a little kit that I keep on my bike. It's like a bike repair kit, because depending on how far out you go on some of these trails, you know, there's a lot of thorny stuff out there. Like you can ride over, like there's like these little sharp rocks here, and they're usually kind of like in gravelly sort of situations, but if for some reason you run over those, I actually have one in my tire right now, but it has like weirdly stayed in place, so I haven't had to replace it yet. But you're gonna want to make sure that you've got a little bike repair kit. You can get them on Amazon for like, I think like 10-15 bucks kind of thing, and I find it's also good just for like your peace of mind. One of the benefits of having a little bike repair kit with you is that if you do end up like puncturing your tire and you're way the heck out there somewhere, you can patch it real quick, and then that comes in handy. And there's also just a couple other like useful things in there. I think the worst thing that could happen is like if you're way the heck out there, it's 115 degrees out and you're by yourself. Another tip that I like to do, if for some reason, maybe I should do a separate video on this, have tin foil with you, because tin foil helps to reflect the sun. So if for some reason you were stranded and you needed to get someone's attention, having that tin foil will help you out. So, but I'll do another video on that. Whatever you do, don't forget to stay hydrated. It is key. But anyways, happy bike riding, y'all. See ya.